Peacemaker Season 2 Episode 3 has dropped, so let's talk about it. Let's go through the Easter eggs and just any other references you might have missed. James Gunn started off this episode with a banger because we got Joel Kinnaman coming back as Rick Flag Jr. Yeah, we pick up in a 3 years ago flashback sequence. We are implied to be in the current DC universe that Peacemaker is set in. It's just 3 years prior, and we learned some crazy information. Harcourt and Rick Flag Jr. were actually in a relationship. Well, sort of in a relationship. But yeah, they were doing it on and off, and it's right before the events of the Suicide Squad because Harcourt later mentions how he's got to get ready for Corto Maltese in a couple hours. Harcourt also mentions June Moon, which is the Enchantress from the 2016 Suicide Squad film. But yeah, it's crazy implications that we learned that this entire time, Harcourt and Rick Flag Jr. actually had a relationship. This obviously now adds another layer to, Harcourt and Peacemaker's relationship because Peacemaker obviously killed Rick Flag Jr. And Harcourt literally tells Rick Flag Jr. that, she's his only friend and he's also her only friend. So the fact that he got killed off by the guy that's supposedly now in love with her, it kind of makes sense why she's acting this way. We then obviously pick up in present. Chris is now in this parallel dimension, and he wakes up. Keith is there, obviously. And he's had a bit of a conversation with Harcourt already, and they plan on meeting up soon. Obviously, at the same time, Chris has zero clue what's going on in this universe because he doesn't know anything. Obviously, he's now replacing the doppelganger. But yeah, we get a bit of a montage, and he ends up taking his Peacemaker cycle to Harcourt's work, which ends up being at Argus. We then pick up with Team Peacemaker in our current DC timeline, and it is just them obviously drunk as hell from the party that they had the night before. During this scene, Adrian tells them that he knows a lot about spiders because he likes them a lot, and obviously he asks them to ask him a fact, which obviously he won't know. So this is the second animal that he potentially knows a lot about, even though he has zero clue. We pick back up with Chris in this alternate dimension. He heads to Argus and meets up with Harcourt, but before he does, we meet the Rick Flag Jr. for this dimension. And you can already tell the difference between this version of Rick Flag because he is completely different. He has no confidence, he's weird, he's very douchey. He's giving off a lot of Peacemaker vibes himself, but it's not the same version. He's not as confident, he's not as outspoken as the OG Rick Flag that we already know. From there, they just go on a chill little date, catching up and saying things to each other. And then we get an explosion happening right in front of them as they're about to leave. So we find out the person that explodes in front of Peacemaker and Harcourt is actually a member of the Sons of Liberty. So who are the Sons of Liberty? They're a secret American ultra paramilitary organization. They basically just want to throw the American government over. They don't think that they're doing the right things. They want to fix it themselves. They're more commonly seen with Superman. The first time we saw them was in a Superman comic. So they are essentially the villains for this episode, but it feels kind of weird saying that they are villains. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. So the Sons of Liberty have also taken over this building and they plan on exploding it with a bomb. They also have a person in captivity. So all is going to shit basically. Peacemaker obviously realizes that he's got to go save the day. And then we get an insane montage of him climbing up to the building and killing every single member one by one. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if you guys noticed, but whenever the members got killed, they gave off a different vibe. It didn't seem exactly like they were the bad guys. It kind of gave off like they were trying to do something good, but obviously it was in a bad way. Obviously, to have someone in captivity, nothing about that is good. But something just felt off about it. Peacemaker kills everybody, defuses the bomb, all is good. The getaway helicopter that the Sons of Liberty also had is destroyed by returning Keith, who is now in his Captain Triumph suit. His superhero name is listed as Captain Triumph, if you didn't know. While all this is happening in this parallel universe, we actually pick back up in our main DC universe. Conwell gets a call from Sacha Bordeaux because Langston tells him that he told Eagly was a duck, going back to the whole bird blind and stuff, which is another hilarious thing. We then see Economos going to the hospital, meeting up with Langston, Sasha, and we also now see Michael Rooker's character of Red St. Wild. They have hired an eagle bounty hunter to kill Eagly. But yeah, at the same time, Sasha also tells Economos if he is turning towards Team Peacemaker and helping him more, because if he is, he's just going to be fired. Of course, Economos does not want any part in killing Eagly, so he doesn't want to do it. Obviously, Sasha says if you don't, you're going to be fired. If you don't want to do that, then you're just going to work with this person. And this other person turns out to be Judo Master. So the episode basically ends when we pick up in the parallel universe with Chris and Keith. They have their heart-to-heart conversation one more time. While that's happening, our main DC universe, we've got Team Argus basically heading to Peacemaker's home to kill Eagly and also take Chris in as well. From what we've seen, obviously, right, with this parallel universe, it's a much happier life for Chris. But it does not necessarily mean that they're just going to be good guys. Because we already know in our main DC universe, Augie was a horrible person. The White Dragon, right? He was a horrible human being. He's a villain. Just because he has now raised his family in a positive light, it could still mean he's still a bad guy in this new universe. So who knows, maybe this entire time he's just been a villain, and now this Peacemaker that we have and this new Captain Triumph that we have are also villains. But I guess that's something we will find out very soon. What did you guys think of this episode, and what were your guys' reaction when you saw Joel Kinnaman back as Rick Flag Jr.? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.